The most valuable skill in the world is not coding, not speaking, not money. It is the ability to sit with one thought long enough to turn it into something real. And right now that skill is disappearing. The only question is whether you will let it disappear in you. When did you last finish a complete thought? Not a text, not a scroll, not a reaction to something someone else created. A complete original thought, from beginning to end, without interruption. If you cannot remember, you are not alone. But the consequences of that are far more serious than most people understand. Therefore, this video exists because what is happening to your ability to think deeply is not an accident, and the people who benefit from your shallow thinking are counting on you never finding out. In the year 2000, the average human attention span was 12 seconds. By 2015, it had dropped to 8 seconds. A goldfish has an attention span of 9 seconds. We fell below the goldfish, but the number is not even the most alarming part. The most alarming part is this. Between 2015 and 2023, the ability to sustain focused thought on a single problem for more than 5 minutes declined by 47% in working-age adults. Deep thinking is not just sitting quietly and staring. It is a specific neurological state called flow, first described by psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, after studying thousands of high performers across every field. In flow state, the prefrontal cortex partially deactivates, self-consciousness drops away completely, time distorts dramatically, and cognitive performance increases by a measurable 500%. 500%. Therefore, every major breakthrough in human history came from a person in this state. Newton and gravity, Einstein and relativity, Tesla and alternating current, but none of them were interrupted every 7 minutes. None of them had notifications, none of them were scrolling between thoughts. They sat and they thought for hours at a time, uninterrupted, and the world changed because of it. Therefore, the question is not whether deep thinking matters. The question is whether you will ever access it again. A study at the University of California found something that should terrify every knowledge worker alive. After any interruption, it takes an average of 23 minutes and 15 seconds to fully return to deep focus. 23 minutes. But the average office worker is interrupted every 3 minutes. Therefore, most people never actually reach deep focus at any point during their working day. They exist in a permanent state of shallow thinking, skimming the surface of problems, never diving deep enough to find real solutions. And this is not just a work problem. It is happening in relationships. You are half present in conversations because your brain is already waiting for the next notification. It is happening in creativity. Ideas need quiet, sustained time to form. They do not arrive in 30-second windows. It is happening in reading. Most people cannot finish a single page without checking their phone at least once. The interruption economy is making us functionally shallower as human beings, and someone is profiting from every single interruption. Here is the angle nobody covers. Your attention is a commodity, not metaphorically, literally. Every second you spend looking at a platform, that second is sold to advertisers. Your distraction is their product. Your shallow thinking is their profit. But here is the critical insight. Deep thinking is the enemy of the attention economy. A person in deep focus is not scrolling, not clicking, not reacting, not buying. Therefore, the attention economy has a direct financial incentive to prevent you from ever thinking deeply. The algorithm that interrupts you every 7 minutes with a notification is not malfunctioning. It is working perfectly. It is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Keep you shallow, keep you reactive, keep you scrolling, keep you profitable. Every minute you spend in deep, focused thought is a minute their system makes zero money from you. Therefore, they built a system that makes deep thought feel uncomfortable, unnecessary, and almost impossible. And it worked. Let me tell you what shallow thinking actually costs you. Not in productivity metrics, in real life. The business idea you had but never developed fully because you could not sit with it long enough. The relationship problem you never actually solved because you scrolled away every time it surfaced. The creative project you started 17 times and never finished because deep work felt too uncomfortable to sustain. The book that changed someone's life that you will never write because your attention never stays in one place long enough. These are not small losses. These are the losses that define the difference between the life you are living and the life you could be living. Cal Newport spent a decade studying the most productive people in the world. His conclusion in one sentence: the ability to perform deep work is becoming increasingly rare. At exactly the same time, it is becoming increasingly valuable. The person who can focus deeply in a world of constant distraction has a competitive advantage that no degree or certification can ever match. Remember the Japanese habit of ma we covered in a previous video? The intentional empty space, the meaningful silence. Japan did not develop ma as a spiritual practice. They developed it as a performance tool. The Japanese understanding is this: the space between thoughts is where the best thoughts live. The silence between actions is where the best actions originate. Therefore, Japanese knowledge workers protect their deep thinking time with the same intensity they protect their physical health. No notifications during focus blocks, no open door policies during creative work, no interruptions during deep problems. And the results speak clearly. Japan produces more patents per capita than almost any nation on earth. Japan consistently ranks among the highest in educational achievement, despite having shorter school hours. Japan built some of the most complex and reliable systems in human history. Not because Japanese people are more intelligent, but because they protect their ability to think deeply in a world designed to prevent it. Your brain is neuroplastic. It can rebuild what it lost, but it requires deliberate practice, just like rebuilding a muscle after long inactivity. Here is the exact protocol. Build the base. Choose one task per day. Set a timer for 15 minutes. Do only that one task. Phone in another room. Complete silence. 15 minutes only. Then stop. That discomfort you feel? That is the muscle working. Extend the window. Increase to 25 minutes per session. 2 sessions per day. The discomfort will reduce. Your brain is adapting. Protect the time. Schedule deep work like appointments. It goes in the calendar. Nothing replaces it. Other people's urgency does not enter it. Week 4. Full deep work. 90-minute uninterrupted sessions. Research shows 90 minutes is the optimal window for deep cognitive work. After 90 minutes, a real break. Then repeat. The result: in 30 days, your ability to think deeply will be measurably stronger than it is today. In 90 days, you will have a competitive advantage most people in your field will never develop. The attention economy wants you scrolling. The algorithm wants you reacting. The notification system wants you interrupted. And for most people, they are getting exactly what they want. But not you, not after this video, because now you understand the full picture. Your Gen Z anxiety, shallow reactive thinking, feeding on itself endlessly. Your buying decisions, made by a distracted brain that never thought deeply about what it actually needed. Your Japanese habits, meaningless without the deep thinking required to implement them consistently. Everything connects here. Therefore, this is the foundation. Deep thinking is not one skill among many skills. It is the skill that makes all other skills possible. The most valuable skill in the world is not coding, not speaking, not money. It is the ability to sit with one thought long enough to turn it into something real. And right now that skill is disappearing. The only question is whether you will let it disappear in you. Subscribe to Deep Think for more videos every Thursday, connecting the dots they never wanted you to connect. Which part of this video hit you hardest? Comment below right now. Deep Think reads and personally replies to every single comment.